What's up, guys? Welcome to this latest episode of the program. We're talking about the Western Conference Finals, the Game 7. We're also talking about the latest move in NBA stratosphere with assistant coach of the San Antonio Spurs, Sweeney, getting the job for the Orlando Magic and, becoming the new head coach of the Magic. I'm not a fan of this idea of announcing these hires in the middle of the postseason when the teams that they're currently working for. I didn't like it in the NFL, especially when Kellen Moore was hired by the New Orleans Pelicans a couple of days before the Super Bowl while being the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And it's the same thing with Sean Sweeney, who is one of the assistant coach of Mick Johnson for the Spurs. And we get the news that he's leaving the organization at the end of the season to become a head coach. I get the idea of, if you ask me, they shouldn't even be going for the interviews, but, organizations have to continue operating, right? But at least can the information be kept between just the parties involved and not being, public up until the end of the season, because this could have a different kind of effect on the players and the team and the dynamic that they're in when they know that somebody that they maybe appreciate or love is leaving the organization. So I'm not a fan of this, but it is what it is. I guess you just gotta deal with it. It's part of the business. But I would really just love if, at least when the decision is made, if it could be kept within, closed doors until the season is over. But shout out and congratulations to Sean Sweeney for this head coaching job with the Magic. I believe he would do a very good job. He's been the mastermind defensively behind the Spurs this season, and I really love the job that he's done out there. I think, he's going to bring that identity to the Magic and help them be more impactful on the defensive end of the ball, but also offensively. I think he's one of those young up and coming coaches. He's 41 years old and is gonna be able to bring a new dynamic to the Magic after being an assistant coach for so long. Whether it was with Milwaukee, even with the Mavericks, I believe at some point he was also an assistant coach, and with Jason Kidd when he was still out there, and even the Boston Celtics as well. Back to the conference finals and the Spurs going into Oklahoma City and winning Game 7. What an amazing performance by the San Antonio Spurs. They have definitely arrived, and like I predicted, they're going to win Game 7. A very great game by these guys. They came out extremely aggressive, led by the star player Victor Wembanyama, who wins the Western Conference Finals MVP. Shout out to him for that. Very well deserved, but he didn't do it by himself. He got helped by some amazing role players, and that were basically starring the roles like I predicted there should be also to make this happen. Jordan Champagnie, 20 points, 6 rebounds. Great story from a guy who was cut by the Sixers a couple of years ago and is an extreme important player for the Spurs now, and will help to will his team to victory today. 6 of 10 from the 3-point line. He basically responded to every single attempt that the Spurs had, the Thunder had today, of climbing back and trying to make a push to win this game. He was going buckets for buckets, especially from the 3-point line. That was really a great performance by him. Stephon Castle, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, also got 6 turnovers, but was again one more time extremely impactful on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, even though he had a great game in terms of point at least, but his impact defensively was still felt today. Devin Vassell didn't have a great game offensively, only finished with 11 points, but was really huge in terms of defense and on also a knockdown shot. And I think one of the keys of the game were the end of the second quarter, right before the halftime, where the Thunder take the lead with about a minute left in the quarter, and San Antonio finds a way to go back and take the lead back from them. I think that's a momentum shift that is a game changer. Guys like Luke Cornett and the tremendous block that he had on Isaiah Hartenstein on the defensive end of the ball, where that block basically also helps them not go back up just for 2 points. They were up by 4 points at that moment, and this block that he gets helps them maintain a 4-point lead. And then on the other end of the ball, they get a 3 and go back up 7 points. Those are like huge points, huge buckets, huge defensive plays that help in games like this. And obviously Keldon Johnson came off the bench, gave the 6th man of the year, gave the great energy that he usually brings 11 points. Dylan Harper was also really great off the bench, timely buckets, finished the game with 12 points. De'Aaron Fox came to play today, even though he only had 15 points, but those were timely buckets, 5 assists, was able to help stabilize the backcourt of the Spurs, and was able to handle the rock and score timely points. So shout out to this whole San Antonio Spurs team. I've said it in my previous video, they were never afraid of the Thunder. They were extremely confident, especially after beating them several times during the regular season and throughout those NBA Cup games as well. And they were never afraid of the moment. They believed they were the better team, and they've shown it. It was a game that was extremely physical, and the refs, shout out to them too, let the guys play and determine it on the court, and that's what was done. And I can only be proud and shout that out, because that's what I wanted. And like I said in my previous video also, these are career-defining moments. These are games that you make your name out of, and Victor Wembanyama absolutely made a name for himself here, and it's showing that they're here to stay. So shout out again to the Spurs and to the front office also. They've completed this achievement by even not being a tax team this year. They were about $4 million under the tax. That shows and brings a testimony to roster construction, getting all these young players around Wemby, and also developing them and making sure that they're ready to play. And that's what you see when you got guys like Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper on their rookie season, being able to be some great contributors to that rotation. Wemby also still on a rookie contract. He's going to get a bag this offseason. But Stephon Castle also still on a rookie contract. And they're here to stay. Like I've been saying, De'Aaron Fox is locked in for the foreseeable future. Wemby is going to get a bag. They're probably going to re-sign Champagnie, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure they will. And they got almost $20 million coming off the books this offseason with Harrison Barnes. And I believe they're going to let him walk, give some more time to Carter Bryant. And on top of that, they have the 28th pick in this upcoming draft through Atlanta, I believe. So they're going to be able to draft a player, and I trust them to draft the right player to add on to this roster again. And the financial state is really good to allow them to continue being dominant and be there for the future, for the present, but also for the future. And shout out to that front office. Shout out to Mick Johnson for the tremendous job that he's done. First full year as a head coach, and he delivers and brings them to the NBA Finals. Shout out to Greg Popovich also for being still being a presence in this Spurs organization from his president of basketball operation status, unfortunately after his health issues. But shout out to this whole organization, and for them to understanding the vision and the importance of veteran players also. They couldn't have done this. They haven't shown much on the court, but in the locker room, their presence was, pretty much invaluable. Guys like Bismack Biyombo, Mason Plumlee, Kelly Olynyk. These are guys that haven't played much, but were able to calm this guy and talk to them and show them the ropes, especially the young players. And this just been a great performance, and I'm excited to see what they do against the Knicks. I have them winning the NBA Finals. I think they match up pretty well with the Knicks, and I believe Victor Wembanyama is just such a difference maker, and the rotation of the guards between Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper is just such a great trio that I believe they're going to be able to get the best out of the Knicks guards, especially, and being able to also throw different bodies at Jalen Brunson while negating Karl Anthony Towns on the offensive side of the ball. Mitchell Robinson got a pinky issue and had surgery, but is expected to play. How much impactful can he be? We'll see. But they have a lot of bigs that they can also throw and try to negate the offensive power of the bigs from the Knicks. So we'll see that. But I do have them winning it all this season. And shout out again to the Spurs. Like I said, the Thunder season ends here. They won't be able to go back-to-back MVP season again from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But tonight was just not enough. They started Cason Wallace. Mark Daigneault, the coach of the Thunder, was trying to make a change and bring McCain right back off the bench again. But the absence of Jalen Williams and Adrian Mitchell was too much for them, I believe. And they didn't get enough from the role players. Chet Holmgren, this is unacceptable. When you are paid as a max player, the second best player of the team, which is Jalen Williams, is out, injured, and you also a max player, and you only take 2 shots in the game at 7'1" or whatever the height is now for him, especially in a matchup with Wemby like it is unacceptable. Finishes the game with 4 points, 2 shots attempts, and 4 rebounds. That's just in 33 minutes. That's just unacceptable. And there's a lot of questions as far as changes coming in Oklahoma. I heard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander saying he's not gonna weigh in the moves during the offseason. He is gonna let Sam Presti that he called, and I agree with him. The best GM, probably I believe said the greatest GM in the history of the basketball, make the moves that he needs to make, and I'm sure he will. Chet is probably not going to move unless they're really aggressive in a trade like Giannis, for instance. But if he comes back, we'll need to be able to prove his value starting next season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Jalen Williams also is going to have to stay relatively healthy, because now that those 3 guys, even though the contracts are staggered, are all on max contracts, and you have to be available and you have to deliver when you are on those type of contracts. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with guys like Lou Dort, who is going to be on an expiring contract with $18 million due next season. Isaiah Hartenstein also owed $28.5 million next season also. So on another expiring contract also. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna, keep them in running back, or go get some other players, or trying to restructure this contract with some extensions? Kenrich Williams, guys like that. You want to see what they do. Jared McCain, who is on another 2 years also, controllable contract. It will be interesting to see what Sam Presti does. They still have 12th pick in the draft this season, and also the 17th pick. I expect them to be really aggressive to go get some better talent, but also not use all the picks. I'm sure they won't. They might trade up or try to get some extra pick. I trust Sam Presti to make some moves there, but I won't be as surprised if they try to move up in the draft to get some win now players at the top of the draft. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, like I said. But yeah, they're gonna have to make some changes if they want to continue to be as dominant as they've been and get back to the NBA Finals next season, especially with those big contracts now getting closer to really be impactful on the books But they're also going to be getting Nikola Topic, hopefully on his first season. And Thomas Sarber also probably will be back. He wasn't able to play this season, so they're getting some help already off of the roster, but I'm sure they're going to be aggressive and will try to improve this roster. That's just what great teams do, and that's what a guy like Tim Presti also does. So, and also coming game the NBA Finals, like I said, I have the Spurs winning it, and we'll see how the first two games go in San Antonio starting next Wednesday. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this episode. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the videos, share them, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Ciao.